is, the first thing to do is this quadratic needs to be rearranged. Basically, we need to take 2x to this side and the plus 3 to that side. So if I just use rearranging, positive 2x becomes minus 2x, positive 3 becomes negative 3 equals to 0. And that actually rearranges quite nicely into the general form of a quadratic. Remember, ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0 is the general form of a quadratic equation. And what we're going to do now is we can identify what a is, b is, and c is. And some of you asked, can they be negative numbers? And they can. And sometimes that's important. So what do we get from this then? A is the number in front of the x squared, so a is going to be 2. B is the number in front of the x. Now that negative belongs to that 2. So the number in front of the b is negative 2. And one that caught a few of you out was the c value here. So those are the three numbers I'm going to substitute in. 2 of them are negative. So the next thing now, you don't need to memorise it. You can go to your formula booklet. But what you'll probably find is, if you write this down after each time you use it, you'll find that you'll actually memorise it just by default. So that's why when you do your exercise today, I'd like you to just write that down each time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get the calculation from your calculator in one go. And that's what you can try today, because you're all going to use your graphics display calculators. Now, if I substitute in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bracket where all these letters are. So that's the B, and then you're going to substitute in the A, and you're going to substitute in the C. So I'm just putting them in these spaces where the letters used to be, right? You can see that. So I want to substitute in for the letter B. The letter B goes in this position and this position here, which B was minus 2. And you've got to be very, very careful with the B. If you're going to make a mistake, it might be with the B, because minus 2 squared is positive 4, not negative 4. And you've got to watch out for a situation where you've got a minus here, and in your formula it says minus b. So whatever b is going to be the opposite at the front. Other numbers to put in here then. We said a was 2, so a only appears here, 4 times 2, and at the bottom, that's where it goes. And the c value, which I was doing in black, was negative 3, and that just gets used here. And that last negative is very important because it stops us having a negative in the square root in this problem. Does anyone want to ask a question about rearranging and then substituting in? Now, this is where we have to be careful. I'm going to do each thing in turn. A minus and a minus makes a plus, so that becomes positive 4, plus or minus, and then you might just want to work out the answer on the inside. Minus 2 squared, let's do that, that's 4 minus. Now here you've got a minus, and this is very common, which actually makes that a plus. So watch out for that move. That's an important move. 8, and that gives us, and now you can see there's your positive. The square root is positive. Yeah?
But isn't the negative, the 2, the negative 2, doesn't it become a 2?
It's not.
In front of the root.
Yeah, no, what happened is that negative, this negative 2 here, you mean?
No, the other one. In front
just
of the
a 2, not a 4.
This one?
Yeah, because there's no multiplier. So.
You're talking about here?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's minus a minus.
Yeah,
Then
because
it becomes
2,
2.
not a 4.
Because.
Oh, yes, I see. Oh, I've just written it down. Yeah, thank you, Neil. Yeah, that's the wrong. Just copy it in wrong. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Yes, that's just positive 2, plus or minus, all over 2 times a is 4. Now, this is where your answers today are going to be a bit different from the textbook. Usually what you do is you work through this as far as you can get, without using a calculator. I can get that far, and in some ways you can write that as your final answer. Usually what happens next is you try and factorize or you simplify this sort. So I'm thinking in my head, can I simplify the square root of 28? 28 is what, 4 times 7?
Yeah.
So if I want to be really good, if I want to be really smart, the third answer to this question here is 2 plus or minus 2 root 7 all over 4. And now that 4 can actually, and I could take it a step further if I wanted, because I could take 2 out as a common factor, and now that 2 can cancel here, and I get this final answer. That is the final answer using the quadratic formula without simplifying. How many of you are aiming for maths SL next year? If you're aiming for maths SL next year, that should be
SL. What do you mean?
that's the middle one.
Yeah.
Studies SL. If you're aiming for SL, you should be able to do that with your. So you basically get the quadratic formula, you substitute it in, and you get it down to this stage here, right? That's as far as you get it. Now that's okay. You're getting it correct. But if you can take it a step further than that, down this way, to get this answer here, so that's called giving your answer as a surd, in surd form. And if you can do that today, that's brilliant. And I can check your answers. That's what the textbook answer is going to be like. Now, one other thing that you must all be able to do though, is there's another way of doing this, of giving this answer, and that's actually giving it as a decimal number. Now, to do it as a decimal number, you need, this is where a GDC becomes in very, very handy, because what you can do is you can type in that whole calculation in one go. You just need to be very careful. And you actually need to be very careful right at the beginning, because what I'm going to do in this one is I'm actually going to bring in a pair of brackets. I want to work out the answer to the top completely before I divide by the bottom. So when I'm doing this on my GDC, I need to put the brackets in first, which is that button. So there's my brackets. And then I can, now you have to do each one separately. So you could do, I'll do the plus one first, plus the square root, second function, square root. And what was that number? 28. And now I close the brackets. Okay, actually, I want to be, let's see, what if I press a bracket here? Now this is where these do change a bit now. I want to get out of that square that's flashing under the square root symbol. I want to somehow get out of that. I think I can just use the arrow pointing to the side. Yes, that's it. So now I'm outside the square root. If you saw how that changed. Put my bracket back in, and that's me done the numerator for plus. And I want to divide that answer by 4. So I press, and you get a big long decimal number. How many significant figures? 3. So you take that, so you can see I do it in one calculation, and then I've got the answer. It's approximately equal to, because it's not going to be exact. I'm going to have to cut this off after the third figure. This number's a 2, so I'm rounding down. It's just going to stay the same, so it's 1.82 to 3 significant figures. Or you've obviously got another answer to get there, because you've also got the answer for the negative one. So you need to go back through, do the same calculation again, but this time put in a minus sign, 28, and it's the square root, don't forget, so second function square root inside. Oh, it's all going terribly wrong. Quit, don't panic. 2, we want it in here, second square root, that's it, 28. I want to come out of the bracket now, and close my brackets, divided by 4, 3 significant figures. So you can see it is. Now be very careful, here's another good thing to show you. This is what a lot of students will write down as the answer from that calculator. You just copy down that number, and even they can even round it off correctly to 3 significant figures. That 2 changes to 3. However, that is not, what does that mean? Because that's not even proper maths, what you've written there. That's just that's just how the calculator screen displays it. When you come to write down your answer, you need to change that into writing it down properly. So you write down the 0 that's missing at the front, 8, 2, 3. So that's what I want you all practicing today. Right? You can practice using the calculator to get the answer. If you're really wanting to try for extended, then what you also need to do is you need to do your square roots and then, maybe simplify that third and then get it right down to the final answer here, which is the answer the textbook's going to show you. Any questions? Right, we'll save that.